Right. 9 June 2024. And today I'm going to be giving you an update, a Sunday update. And this is going to cover a lot of topics. This week has been rather strange because of what happened in Russia. And this is very, very important because what happened in Russia has exposed Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is very badly exposed as we speak in the region, and also he is very, very badly exposed within ZANU-PF, and the Zimbabwe military is very unhappy with what Mnangagwa has done in Russia. The Zambians have also become very, very unhappy with Mnangagwa, and we're going to see a lot of moves within the next few weeks, especially within SADC. There is a lot of unhappiness with Mnangagwa. However, the South African action, what's happening in South Africa, is sort of helping Mnangagwa at the moment. Otherwise, this was going to become a big problem for Mnangagwa. And specifically, what is going to happen in South Africa, which is a possible election of a new president, if the coalition talks don't go well, there is likely going to be a new president in South Africa. That is going to be something that takes attention away from what happened in Russia this week. And I'm going to unpack for you what is happening in South Africa in great detail in this episode so that you understand who are the key players and what is going to be the likely outcome in South Africa. But when it comes to Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe military, according to our sources, and I talked to a lot of people, according to my sources, have told Mnangagwa that they will allow a free and non-violent, so a violence-free protest in August. This has been discussed, and it has been said to Mnangagwa that the military will not intervene if there is a free and violence-free protest in Zimbabwe. The military will not intervene in August. As you know, this has been planned for a very, very long time. There are many people who have been working on the protests. So the protest against Mnangagwa, and the military have told him that they will not interfere. So last time there was a protest, a mini protest. There was a shooting in Harare where 7 people were killed. But this time around, there's going to be SADC presidents in Zimbabwe, and the military is going to be hands off. They're not going to participate in that, in stopping the actual protest if the protest does not include violence. However, I do not know about the police. I do not know what Matanga is going to do. I also do not know if they are going to approve the actual protest march. And it's also not clear if there's going to be a march. So remember that protesting does not mean marching. So let's see what is going to happen. It's probably going to end up being a vigil, and how long it's going to take. These things are going to be very, very important. And I'll be with the people who are organizing the protest. So I'll be there, and you'll be able to see this firsthand. This is not something you're going to hear from someone else. If I'm allowed to enter Zimbabwe and I'm not deported, like I told you, Guti, the only way that these guys can stop me if they deport me at the airport. But otherwise, you're going to see everything that will be happening as it happens. So this is our headline for today. The military is going to allow a protest during the SADC summit in August. They're not going to interfere with that protest. Now let's go to the news. Let's quickly go through all the news items that we have today. And the first news item that we have is that the Zimbabwe government has indicated that they thought the meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin was private. So this is what they say here. I want to show you a picture of the room, just to show you how crazy this whole situation is. So when the meeting was held between Putin and Mnangagwa, there were photographers. So when I talk of photographers, let me show you the picture. This is the room from the back. That's Mnangagwa and Putin over there. And you can see that there's security on the right, and you don't see Mnangagwa's security. That is because Mnangagwa's security is on the left. Right, then I want to show you, this video has gone viral. So if you go to our platforms, this video has gone viral on Gambakwe. On TikTok, we've got over 70,000 views on this video, and on other platforms, we've got multiple views on this video. So I want to show you how this looks so that you understand what went on here. And this is crazy, crazy stuff. And I want to actually open the video so that you can see it. And I want to show you where the people were located who took the video so that we don't have a misunderstanding. And this is something very crazy. So let's go to the video. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you see what happened. So let me share my screen with you, and I'll show you what is the problem. So I'm going to take you to the background of Gambakwe. So this is the background of Gambakwe. Unfortunately, this is going to be quite a small screen that I'm going to show you. So if you go to the background of Gambakwe, you will see that the video was not taken by any of the guys. So if you go to the right, this video was taken from the left. Right, so let's stop sharing this. Then I'll take you back here. Do you see that this video was taken by one of Mnangagwa's guys? It was not taken by one of the journalists over here and the security over here. So the person, so I'm explaining to you what Mnangagwa's team has said. The person who took the video that is currently circulating, according to Mnangagwa's internal investigations, is one of the people that traveled with Mnangagwa. So they're currently carrying out a manhunt or a witch hunt among the team that was Mnangagwa to say who took that video and released it. And the important thing that you must notice is that where did I get the video? I was the very first person to share this video. I did not get this video from any of Mnangagwa's people. This video was posted online at a YouTube channel, a very popular YouTube channel that has got over 105,000 viewers or subscribers. So someone who was in the meeting with Mnangagwa is being accused of taking the video and selling it to journalists. So you understand? They are accusing. There's a media house called the Alpha House. So I think that's even a mistake. The Alpha House. That is the place where this video was sold. So the accusation is that someone who traveled to Mnangagwa took the video of Mnangagwa's private conversation with Putin and then sold it to this media house. So I suspect that this is what happens when you are traveling in these countries. Someone takes a video, makes a lot of money, and sells it. And Mnangagwa and his people, they're now accusing the Russian people of leaking the video. And what the Russians have done is they've then taken the video, the actual footage that they took, and they released the transcript of the actual discussion so that the whole video is in public. And this is how the situation is. It's a very big diplomatic blunder by Mnangagwa because he discussed this in front of a lot of people. What he should have done, Mnangagwa, was probably when there's no cameras, or send a junior person to discuss this at a lower level, not at the level of president to president. As you can see, Putin was very annoyed with this conversation by Mnangagwa. It did not make sense to Putin what Mnangagwa was trying to do. The request was not clear and the threat was not clarified. So Putin is quite aware of what happens in Southern Africa. And people have also asked me, Mnangagwa, did he think about what is the relationship between Zambia and Zimbabwe? So this question has arisen to say, did Mnangagwa consider what are the interests of Russia in Zambia and what he was asking for? What was the implication of that question of saying he wants support, he wants strong support? What was the strong support? What is the actual threat that he was expressing about the Western countries? So this is a big issue. Mnangagwa has made a very big strategic blunder regarding the Zambian issue. And many people don't take Mnangagwa seriously, especially from a military perspective. People see Mnangagwa as a liability, as someone who is not fit for purpose. And this is across the board. People in ZANU-PF, people outside of ZANU-PF, no one takes Mnangagwa seriously. And as I said, in the post-Mnangagwa era, people are thinking, how do we get ourselves out of this situation? How do we get ourselves from Mnangagwa and his family? And how do we do it with the least possible damage? Because there's going to be a lot of damage coming out of Mnangagwa's behavior. Zimbabwe is going to find it very difficult to maneuver within Southern Africa because of what Mnangagwa is doing. Is he going to be a chairperson of SADC after doing what he did? And let's watch and see. And I'm sure that this is one of the reasons why the military has said they will allow a protest during the SADC summit, especially if it's a peaceful protest. So guys, get ready. There's going to be a peaceful protest, and you're going to watch it as I'll be around in Zimbabwe to show you. I'll be streaming during that time, and everything is going to go very well. I am very focused. Bishop Nyamakanga is very focused. The churches are very focused, and there is a lot of steps that are going to take place ahead of those protests. So let me go to other news. I want to go to a bit of business news right now. And as I said, on Sundays, I like to cover things in detail. I want to go to Starlink. Starlink is going to be coming to Zimbabwe within the next 60 days. So within the next 60 days, you're going to be able to get Starlink. And let's see how that happens, how it's going to work. There is a lot of expectations. And what we're going to do here at Gambakwe is we're going to roll out free hotspots as soon as Starlink comes. We're going to roll out hotspots for people who subscribe to this channel in Harare, in Bulawayo, and some of the major cities. And also we'll try to find the bigger rural areas where we can roll out hotspots. And this is so that people can have access. There's a lot of people who cannot access the internet, and that is going to happen. We're going to do it. It's very cheap to roll out Starlink. And then I'm going to talk about this young lady here called Kiki. I don't want to say a second name. So Kiki has revealed that she received a car from Wicknoch Vibe. So that is Kiki here. So what is my point of saying this? She says people should not blame people who take cars from Wicknoch because this is a sign of appreciation, and most of them did not ask for the cars. So like herself, she did not ask for the cars. There are a lot of other people who got the cars. Kiki wrote me a message last week, and she's complaining about something that our newspaper published. And she says people are misrepresenting her, and I'm sure it's harming her brand. But all I can say is for young people like her, it's very difficult for people, ordinary people, to understand why they support ZANU-PF. Things are very hard, and it will be something that they have to carry. So people like Kiki, you're going to have to carry this into the future. When things change, people are going to remember that when things were really hard, when some of us were experiencing extreme losses, they were getting Mercedes-Benz. I'm eventually going to explain to you what is happening behind the scenes, how Mnangagwa has been attacking my property in Zimbabwe and other people's property. I'm going to explain to you, and I'm going to show you how they've started to do this, how some of us are going to, or are already experiencing massive losses in Zimbabwe. But what I know is that eventually everything is going to work out. We're going to become very focused. I'm not going to lose my attention and focus on the wrong things right now. And other people who are working on this change that we're talking about, they are experiencing massive losses. People have lost their lives. So I want people like Kiki to know that people have lost their lives through Mnangagwa's government. And I always talk here about Pastor Tafumane Masaya, who was killed while campaigning in Mavuku by Scott Sakukanya's people. These people killed him in cold blood, dumped his body at Cleveland Dam, and the police are refusing to investigate. So when you say you are innocent and you are aware of all these things, remember that there is a reason why some of us are busy fighting what is going on in Zimbabwe and looking for a new modern Zimbabwe. So Mnangagwa has failed to modernize the country. Zimbabwe is going down. It's going down. That's why people like Wicknow can give away cars, because they've received money from a corrupt system. So that is why we don't support Ana Wicknow Chivayo and what they're doing. So I guess that is clear. Then let's go to soccer. This is how the World Cup league is looking. Lesotho at the top, Rwanda there number 2, Benin in the center there, South Africa, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe right at the bottom. So currently the way it looks, the Southern African countries, Lesotho is doing very, very well. It's going to probably represent us for the first time. That is because they won so much against Zimbabwe. So this is looking very strange. This is not a normal look at all. Then I want to go to South Africa and spend a bit of time there. In South Africa, there's currently negotiations taking place. And what has happened is that the South African ruling party, or former ruling party, the ANC, has had a lot of their top leaders not making it into the new cabinet. And President Cyril Ramaphosa has decided to negotiate with the DA. So that is President Cyril Ramaphosa there. He has decided to go into negotiations with the DA. And these negotiations are not necessarily being taken. The party, the DA is not wanted by most leaders in the ANC. So what President Cyril Ramaphosa has done is that he's set up a secret group to negotiate with the DA. And this group is being fought by other people within the ANC. And these people are saying, if the ANC negotiate with the DA, they'll be selling out black people, and they will not allow it because the DA supports what is called Cape Independence, and which will result in the balkanization of South Africa through Simonstown and the Saldanha Bay waters. So that is the argument. And the person leading this action against President Cyril Ramaphosa is Lindiwe Sisulu. So let me get that right. I don't want to name the wrong person here. So according to the Sunday Times newspaper, Lindiwe Sisulu, he said that President Ramaphosa will be selling out black people if he allows a negotiation with the DA, because the DA supports Cape Independence, and which will result in the balkanization and further vulnerability of South Africa because of what will happen at Saldanha Bay and at Simonstown. That is where the military bases are. And the belief is that if they escape independence, then it will be easier to attack South Africa, because there will be different interests between the whole of South Africa and the Western Cape. So that is the argument that is over there. As you know, ANC big guns are failing to make it into cabinet. So there's a lot of ANC big guns who are not going to make it to parliament. And this includes Lindiwe Zulu, Naledi Pandor, Bheki Cele. These guys are not going to parliament. You're also looking at Thandi Modise, Ibrahim Rasool, and Thulas Nxesi. These guys are not going to cabinet. They're not going to parliament. They're not even made it to the list of people that are going to go parliament. There is a potential here that Paul Mashatile, who is the deputy president of South Africa, is got quite a big possibility of making it to the presidency if there's a coalition with EFF and MK. But the permutations are still ongoing. There's a lot that is going to happen in South Africa. And Ramaphosa right now is in a very, very vulnerable position, because he prefers to go with big business and with the DA. But he's being told that if he does that, they're going to make sure that he exits. He does not make it to the presidents of South Africa. So that is the situation. And this is very, very important for us to understand. The dynamics in South Africa are going to be very interesting for Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa is going to not have the support of South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa has been supporting Mnangagwa, but going forward, Mnangagwa is going to be very vulnerable. By August, Mnangagwa will not be able to shoot people on the streets like he did and get away with it. There is going to be a very vocal South African government against Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, and it's not going to be easy. And the guys have to start getting ready because Mnangagwa has totally failed. His policies have not worked. When he was in Russia, imagine that the ZIG will not fail. But as we speak right now, the ZIG has failed. They've not released the bigger notes of the ZIG, and they've dumped massive amounts of fake ZIG through electronic ZIG balances. If you ask the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe right now to release how much is in electronic balances, you'll be shocked. There's a lot of fun is happening over there with the electronic ZIG. So the ZIG has failed, the economy is plunging, and a lot of bad things are happening. Employees, government employees, are struggling right now with the ZIG, and it's getting worse and worse every day. Then I want to go to the fight between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. So if you go to the Standard newspaper, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga fight is intensified. And this is because Chiwenga is rumored to have hired youths in February to go and boo and heckle Mnangagwa in Mutare. So you remember that when the 21st February movement was supposed to take place in Mutare, I mentioned that strange enough, it was moved to Masvingo. So apparently, Chiwenga had organized a bunch of youths to go to Mutare and heckle Mnangagwa. So they wanted to heckle Mnangagwa at the venue and make sure that he gets embarrassed. So you remember that Auxilia Mnangagwa was heckled in Manicaland. So apparently, and this is according to the Standard newspaper, I can go and look at the story here. ED 2030 plot draws fierce ZANU-PF resistance. So that is the story that is over here. So let me actually share with you. There's no reason for me not to share with you this newspaper so that you can see what I'm talking about. So according to this newspaper, ED 2030 plot draws fierce ZANU-PF resistance. Chiwenga had hired a group of youths to go and heckle Mnangagwa, and then Mnangagwa heard about it. Then Mnangagwa moved the 21st February movement event, or the youth event, to Masvingo, where the slogan Mnangagwa 2030 Vanenge Vachipo was started being chanted. And they said that this slogan was chanted to counter Chiwenga. So it was specifically chanted to deal with Chiwenga. So that is why they're putting that slogan out. And Chiwenga then left Zimbabwe and went to Russia. He did not attend the 21st February movement celebration. So that is what the newspaper is saying. I do not know if that is true or not, but I believe that, as I said in the past, Chiwenga is going to be the next target. Remember, Chiwenga was heckled at the National Heroes Acre. So movements are going to be made to make sure that Chiwenga is dealt with if he does not make a move. And I don't know what kind of move Chiwenga can make against Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is, as I said, a very, very big problem right now. And people in ZANU-PF across the board, they don't know how to deal with Mnangagwa and what he's doing. He's doing unpredictable things that you normally wouldn't see a president doing. For example, what he did, that video from the Russians, from the angle, you can clearly see that it was taken from within Mnangagwa's team. So that is what Mnangagwa believes, that someone within his team took the video and released it. And they are currently busy finding out who is that person. So as I showed you, there is Mnangagwa sitting there. There is the media. There are the Russian security. And on the left, that is Mnangagwa and his people. Mnangagwa security will obviously be on the left. And Russian security is on the right, cameras at the front. So the person who took the video And if you listen to the sound, you can tell that it was from probably a concealed device. Took the video, was in Mnangagwa's camp, and they're right now trying to find out who within Mnangagwa's camp took the video and leaked it or sold it to the media. That is currently what is happening. Mnangagwa's security has been seriously compromised. Within his own security, Mnangagwa believes there are people that are working against him. So that is the situation right now. Mnangagwa believes there are people within his security that are working against him. I want to go to the death of Chief Malaba of Kezi. He passed away after a short illness. That was yesterday. And then we want to look at, I just wanted to show you the Netbank Zimbabwe managing director here. Just for interest's sake, I didn't know that she was female, or the Netbank Zimbabwe managing director was female. She's Mongile Moyo. She's featured in the Standard newspaper. You can go and check her out. That is Netbank Zimbabwe managing director Mongile Moyo. Right, and I think we've covered a lot of stories. So the Sunday Mail newspaper is not out. The Sunday News newspaper is not out. What I'm going to do is, if there's anything big in there, I'm going to come back and I'll give you guys a rundown of what is happening with those newspapers. Then in South Africa, we've got a very sad situation. A popular chef has been killed by her boyfriend. So this guy here is Zibusiso Zita. He has confessed to killing this young lady here. She is a popular chef in South Africa. So he killed her, and the parents were frantically looking for her. Tembe Kile Lihlape. So she is the daughter of Dr. Kosi Lehlape. Dr. Kosi Lehlape is going to Parliament. He's going to be going to Parliament under the Action SA, and he obviously confessed. Sibusiso here, I don't know what kind of altercation that they had, and the body was found at his house. So she was buried yesterday. Very sad situation in South Africa where a lot of women are being killed. But it's even sadder because Dr. Kosi Lehlape is going to be going to Parliament this week. So it's going to be one of those things where if he was supposed to be celebrating, but now he has to be mourning his daughter. So I think I've covered a lot here. I've covered a lot, but let's not brush over what has happened. We are in the post-Mnangagwa era, and we have to be extremely careful how we manage this period where we're going. And I want young Zimbabweans not to let this opportunity pass, because what happened is the last time Mugabe left office, it was mismanaged. The opposition did not take their place. So I've been talking to the guys around Chamisa, and I said to the guys, do not let this opportunity pass, because the change that we want to see happening here should be massive. There should be a massive change. And there's a massive opportunity for Zimbabwe, because Mnangagwa has failed to modernize the country. The next person that is going to come is going to modernize this country. So I can see that someone wants to join me here. And do not phone me on my phone. Look on the screen. I'm going to put the link of where I'm talking now here on this stream, so that you can join me. So do not phone my phone. Look on the comments on both Facebook and YouTube. I've put my link there. So what I'm saying is, be very careful with what is going to happen now. The next person that is going to take over in Zimbabwe is going to have such a massive opportunity to create a very advanced modern country. Zimbabwe is going to be very, very advanced. It's going to be very, very modern. And we're going to see hundreds and hundreds and thousands of Zimbabweans coming back home. So if you are overseas, you must understand that there's going to be so much opportunity in Zimbabwe that you don't have to stay where you're staying right now. And that's why you need to participate. What is happening now, the guys in the military, the guys in security, the guys in intelligence, do not align yourself with what Mnangagwa is doing. That thing is passing. Mnangagwa is gone. Align yourself with what is coming. A very modern country, a country that you're going to be proud of, And this is where we're going. We're going towards a beautiful country, but we need brave people. We don't want cowards. The military has already said through our sources that they will not be participating or stopping a peaceful demonstration. So don't stand back and be afraid. So that is the message that we want to send to everybody. Mkoma Pascal, how's it going?
Mr. Gambakwe Media.
You can't sleep at this time.
Magumbezi ndikutokuona zvangu ndiri paDRC paKongo apa.
Okay, how's it going though?
Mushe ndinofamba nemarori aya, zvinhu zvazvo zvisina kumira mushe mukufamba umu. Tikuvaona vakuru vari kumhanya vachimhanya kunana Russia, vakutya kamwe wavo akarohwa paSouth Africa pangadai akamhanyira kunopoterawo padhuze kwete kumhanya kuenda kuRussia kunokumbira kuti ndo ndapindirwa neZambia. Chii chakadaro ichocho?
Mkoma, I understand what you're saying about Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is got a problem because remember what Mnangagwa was given a SIOM report by Zambia, and he refused to talk to them. So I don't think it's fair for him to now go and complain about Zambia when he refused to talk to Zambia.
Kana military yake anayo muZimbabwe asi kutovatrusta kuti amhanye kuenda kuno kutsvaga kuti ndikuda bhesi rekuti nditsigirwe kuRussia.
Yes, but don't you think kuti iye Mnangagwa also has other bases in his country? I'm sure pane mabhesi asingazivi arimo muZimbabwe.
Asi protest apa tobudirira here Mukoma Gambakwe?
Yes, tinobudirira because as I said to you now, the military has said they will not interfere. They will not stop a peaceful protest. This is something that I've got on good authority. And the young guys in the military, they are in support of what we're doing, of what Bishop Nyamakanga is doing, of what the church is doing.
Maita basa Mukoma Gambakwe, tiripo takutsigirai.
Okay, you give me a call later during the day. Let's have a chat. Kanama Resta.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So, guys, there's someone who's coming from the United States who was trying to call me. So I don't know if you've changed your mind about calling me, but if you want to call me, you should call me. Let's look at the comments. I want to probably give it a few more minutes while I'm waiting for the Sunday Mail newspaper to appear. If you guys are successful, we need that air of change to come to South Africa as well. Yes, my South Africans, right now, I don't even want to talk about South Africans because South Africa is going to go through one of the most difficult periods that you've ever seen. If what happened in Johannesburg is to be an example, Johannesburg went through a crisis when there was a multi-party coalition. So South Africa, you're going to see probably 2 or 3 new presidents within the next 3 years. That is my prediction, Kuti. You're going to see 3 or 4 new presidents in South Africa. Thanks very much, Mkoma Pascal. I really enjoy talking to you. And obviously, what happens in South Africa is going to affect what happens in Zimbabwe. Right now, there's a fear that there will be massive violence in KZN. Security has been sent to KZN yesterday. So that is beefing. They've beefed up security in KZN just in case something happens over there. There's going to be new leadership, and that new leadership, their policies on immigration, they are going to be very important. So if you're a Zimbabwean, do not play hands off with what's happening in August. Make sure that Mnangagwa is brought to account. And I'm going to be personally in Zimbabwe. If you see me in Zimbabwe and you see Bishop Nyamakanga in Zimbabwe, you see all the leaders in Zimbabwe, and you're going to get a statement from the political leadership within the next few weeks. We are trying to make sure that the right people, the right stakeholders are in place. So the stakeholders, when I talk of stakeholders, we're talking of Nelson Chamisa, who was in the election. We're talking of Mnangagwa, who was in the election, and SADC. So those are the 3 key stakeholders. SADC has issued a report which said Mnangagwa was not legitimate. He did not win the election. So they can't make him their chairperson. That is the purpose. We cannot allow SADC to make Mnangagwa a chairperson before the issues are addressed. So Mnangagwa, it's up to him right now to call for dialogue. I have explained to you in the past what happened. soon after the election, Mnangagwa wanted a dialogue which he controlled, but that period is over. He cannot control the dialogue. The dialogue must be supervised by SADC. So that is where we're going. That is where we need change. Then I want to obviously look again at the Sunday mail, if it's there or not. If it's not, as I said, I'll come back later to show you what the Sunday mail is saying or the Sunday news. I normally like to show you guys what happens with these Sunday newspapers, but unfortunately they come out a bit late, and I've been late today actually trying to see if there's anything, but I don't see anything of interest here. It seems to me these are still last week's newspapers. They have not given an update or an updated version of the newspaper. I've shown you what is in the standard newspaper. Chiwenga had organized a group of youngsters. So let me explain, these are not my words. So I want to explain what is the standard newspaper. Because what it means is that Chiwenga is in trouble right now with Mnangagwa, and he must be very, very careful. And this is also people like Chinoma Chakaire, they are mentioned in this article that they're involved in a plot to heckle Mnangagwa in Mutare. And Mnangagwa had to send his intelligence to move the 21st February movement commemoration to Masvingo, because he heard that Chiwenga was going to organize a group of youngsters to boo him and to heckle him. So that is what is in the standard newspaper. I've shown you that newspaper. And this means that Chiwenga is right now being pushed into a certain corner by Mnangagwa, and something is going to happen before long to Chiwenga. You saw that he was booed at the National Sports Stadium. So watch out for action against Chiwenga, as Mnangagwa believes that he's behind all his problems, including the Russian video. That is what Mnangagwa believes. So let's see what is going to happen. Mkoma Rollins, how are you doing? Hello, Mkoma Rollins. I can't hear you at all. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning? Okay, we can't hear Mkoma Rollins, so we're gonna leave him out of this discussion. But I think let's recap so that we don't go without recapping. And there are two major developments. The first development is that the Zimbabwe military, through the sources that I spoke to, has said they will not interfere with a protest if the protest is peaceful. That is in August, during the SADC summit. They will not interfere. They will let people protest. So what is left is for us to see what the police are going to say. Are the police going to give permission for that protest? Bishop Nyamakanga is going to be going through the applications, and I'll let you know as the process goes. Then Mnangagwa and Chiwenga are having a massive fight. Mnangagwa's people believe that Chiwenga was organizing people to boo and heckle Mnangagwa in Manicaland in February. And that is why they started the slogan 2030 wa Mnangagwa Nongo Chiripo. And the Chiwenga faction was creating a slogan called 2024 Chiwenga office. So let me get that clear. Did they say 2024 or 2028? I think it was 2028 Chiwenga office. That is the slogan that the Chiwenga faction was coming up with. And this included people like Chinoma Chakaire, who was, I think, he's Minister of Youth or something, and he was part of the plot, according to my understanding. There are also people who refused to chant the 2030 Mnangagwa Chipo slogan, and these are some of the people that were fired. Chiwenga has refused to chant that slogan, 2030 Mnangagwa Chipo. And as I said to you, there is fear and a witch hunt currently from Mnangagwa's people, who believe that the person who leaked the Russian video, as you can see on the left, that is where Mnangagwa's security was. They believe that someone who was within Mnangagwa's entourage of security was involved in leaking the video of Vladimir Putin and Mnangagwa, and they believe that this person was working for Chiwenga. So that is what they are saying, and they are currently carrying out a massive witch hunt to find out who leaked that video. But as I said to you, I did not get the video from anyone within the security of Mnangagwa. I got the video from a channel called The Alpha House. You can go and look at The Alpha House. That is where we got the video. So what this means is that someone within Mnangagwa's entourage sold the video to those people. And when we saw the video, I'm always monitoring Mnangagwa, like every moment Mnangagwa is moving. I monitor Mnangagwa like crazy. Like I see, if Mnangagwa coughs, I see it, and so that you guys can know what is going on. So I don't need anyone from Mnangagwa's team to give me a video of anything. However, the Zambians were made aware that the video was existing at that particular time. The Zambians were aware, although they also didn't have the video. They were aware that there was such a video which was circulating of Mnangagwa asking for protection against Zambia. So you are clear about what is happening. There is a massive problem around Mnangagwa, and there's a possibility of a massive instability. The Zimbabwe military needs to allow the processes to take place, because if they don't allow processes to take place, eventually this is going to be solved in the wrong way. There's going to be the wrong actors around Mnangagwa, and things are not going to go very well. It will eventually lead to an even bigger problem, because it's everyone, it's across the board. Everyone doesn't want what Mnangagwa is doing right now. So across the board, let's not brush over this thing here. And I don't want you guys to go away without understanding what I'm saying. Across the board, people want Mnangagwa to go within ZANU-PF, outside of ZANU-PF, within the security structures, especially with the behavior of Auxilia Mnangagwa. It's angered so many people. And currently, with the behavior of Mnangagwa, who's going around ignoring the internal problems, it has angered a lot of people, and people want change. However, we need to make sure that the change is managed, and a transitional system needs to come into place, which is why we need to allow the churches to participate. And the churches must not put their hands off this thing. So I'm talking about prominent church leaders. They must participate, because this is a critical period, and this is a delicate period. Everyone needs to be involved. This is not a time for fear. So if you are afraid, if you let this situation deteriorate, what is coming after cannot be controlled. So the period between now and August, that is the period to make sure that there's a transition. Mnangagwa steps down by end of August, and people move to a well-organized and managed process. So if you don't have a managed process, what is coming after is chaos. It cannot be managed, and do not allow an unmanaged process. Especially if you're in Zimbabwe, it is to your interest to make sure that the process is managed. And so we're just helping you by giving you information. It's very interesting and important that Gambakwe Media has become obviously one of the biggest channels. We broadcast every day, and we cannot look away. So I cannot look away from this process. That's why you see me here every day. Other media houses are not going to do it, because they're not at the level that we are. Most of them are youngsters, so I don't expect them to understand what is going on, and I don't expect them to do what I'm doing, because they just don't have the capacity and the connections within the security structures to do it. And also within the opposition political parties, I talked to multiple leaders of opposition political parties who have been around within the opposition political parties for a very, very long time. That's why you see that I'm here, and I'm going to be talking about this part. But myself personally, you will never see me seeking a political office. What we're going to do is participate in building a modern Zimbabwe. We're going to play a critical role in building a critical modern Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa has failed to build a modern Zimbabwe. His policies have failed. And we're also going to work very hard on homecoming. How do we get the thousands and thousands of people in the UK to come home? Bishop Nyamakanga and myself will be looking at that. How do we get people in the UK to come home? People are hurting in the UK. People are living very difficult lives, and they want to come home. That is the emphatic message we're getting from people in the UK. I've got people here who've been out of the country for 40, 50 years talking to me last night. And I hope that we get this thing sorted out. We need people to come home. I want to look at the last comment here, and it's very important to me. Chatufa is equally doing well, Gambakwe. Guys, do you know that I've never talked to the guy called Chatufa. In my whole life, I've never seen Chatufa. And I want to ask him, call me, because I don't know him. And the person I talk to is, well, if you see a media person in Zimbabwe, they probably pass through my hands, especially on social media. Gambakwe was employing 30 people at one point, and most of these people worked at Gambakwe at some point. But Chatufa, I do not know Chatufa. So let's Google who Chatufa is, because I've never seen his face. I've seen one or two of his videos, but I do not know who is Chatufa. So if you know Chatufa, tell him to call me so that we can understand him, because I see a lot of videos here, but I do not see his face. So I do not know. I know a few things about people who are in media, so I don't want to say anything I don't know about Chatufa, because all I see is a lot of pictures here, but the actual guy himself, I do not know him. So please, if you know Chatufa, tell him to call me so that we can understand who he is, and we'll bring him here and know what it's all about. Okay, so I don't think there's anything left here. We've covered everything, and I've taken a long time. I've deliberately took a long time with this bulletin, but I want to come back once the Sunday news, Sunday Mail newspapers are out. That is probably later during the day, so that I will just show you if there's anything new and interesting. I'll give you an update over there. But tonight we'll be back with the protest. Every single day, we're going to be live for the protest. Unfortunately, when it comes to Zephyr, the contract between myself and Zephyr, so we had a coverage contract. We started in January. That contract, when Zephyr approached us, they approached many newspapers, and they wanted to pay for coverage. So I said to Zephyr, they came with an amount, and I said to Zephyr, I do not want to take that amount that they've given me, that they wanted to pay us. I don't charge anyone for coverage. And Zephyr has never paid us a cent, and no political party has ever paid me a cent to appear on Gambakwe. But they came with a contract, and I said to them, you don't need to bring a contract, and there's no need for you to be covered money. So we've been covering them every Sunday. Given the current situation where Bishop Nyamakanga is uncomfortable about working with Zephyr, what we're going to do is we're going to suspend coverage of Zephyr from now until after the protest. So that is what we're going to do. We're not going to be having Zephyr on the platform in that manner. However, President Ruende is welcome to come when I am live. President Ruende is welcome. He's the only person from Zephyr that I'm going to be talking to between now and the end of the protest. So I'm not going to have Zephyr as a program on Sundays anymore. We're going to, because there are many people that are uncomfortable with having Zephyr. I'm not going to go into the details of why, but there are many people who say that they don't want to have Zephyr on the platform. And also we have removed Zephyr from all the groups as administrator. So there's no one from Zephyr who is an administrator of any group for this protest. However, I want to thank Zephyr because they're the ones who started the petition. So when that petition was started, it was started by Zephyr. Zephyr were the first people to talk about SADC, and Zephyr were the first people to talk about a protest. So I do not want to undermine Zephyr and what they've done, but we need to deal with the perceptions. And I've asked Zephyr here if they're military, and they've denied that they're military. So, however, other people believe that we shouldn't have Zephyr at the front because there is a possibility that they could be linked to security. But I've said Zephyr is not linked to security. Then Mkoma Samuel says, church leaders like Mtendi, Marangi, etc. are benefiting from ZANU-PF shenanigans. Are they supporting this protest? I do not understand why you're saying Marangi is benefiting from ZANU-PF. Because I think Pastor Marangi is totally opposition. Please let me know if there's something else. And then Mkoma Obed is saying, Gambakwe, Wabakupenga, dementia. I don't know if dementia, Mkoma. The person that is with dementia is Mnangagwa, who is going around making people chant slogans, 2030, Mnangagwa, Nigawa Chipo. I'm totally sane, and the future of this country is in our hands. Let's not lose sight of the ball. Let's not lose sight of the ball. And then Mess says, I don't trust Zephyr, they'll disturb us. So I don't think so. I have dealt with Zephyr quite a lot. As I said, President Rwanda is welcome to speak to me here when I'm live, but we're no longer going to be having the daily, every Sunday video, because that contract is on suspension. And anyway, it is coming to an end with the 6 months agreement where Zephyr was going to come and I'll give them coverage. They also approached other media houses. Now, I'm sure all the other media houses know what I'm talking about. But myself, I've got the time and the capacity. If you want free coverage, I give it to you, and I never charge money for everything. So, Mkoma Prosper, I want to end with the comments. Everything will be all right. Yes, everything will be all right. But as I said, some of us, like myself, I'll personally have to bear the full force of what is coming because I'll be at the front. I'll be there when things are happening. I'm not going to be leading the demonstration, but I'll be there to give you coverage. And that means I have to move with the team that is going to be doing these protests, and including going to Zimbabwe. And I trust that the guys in the military, and I trust their word that they will not interfere with this protest. So that is the assumption that we're working on, that the protest will be allowed. There will be no security issues. No one will be arrested. No one will be killed. But if the need is there for someone to be arrested, for someone to be killed, then if you are afraid, you will never take charge in that country. I've told it to the guys. You cannot be an opposition leader and be afraid and become president. You have to make sure that when you go in, someone goes out. And that process is not peaceful. It's going to be very, very difficult. Right. I thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And as I said, I'll see you again later today, maybe 2 or 3 times today. Thank you very much.